Hi, thanks for tuning in to Turn to the Stars. My name is Andrea Klim, and I'm an astrological counselor and shamanic practitioner from the local area. And today on Turn to the Stars, I have Amy Shapiro coming on again as my guest. And Amy is a wellness educator, a past life therapist, and an astrotherapist from Gloucester, Mass. And she is joining us today by telephone and to talk about the upcoming influences of the new moon in Sagittarius that is occurring tonight, December 2nd, 2013. And also we're going to be talking about Amy's new book, which is being published tonight as well, entitled Before This Song Ends. And it is a timeless romance. And a big welcome, Amy.
Thank you, Andrea. So happy to be with you today.
I thank you for taking the time to come on the show. We're so thrilled to be, talking about this new moon, what's ahead for everybody this month ahead, and also your new book, which is an exciting thing to be publishing. And the new moon is actually occurring at 11 degrees and 2 minutes of Sagittarius. And we'd like to show you that chart right now on the screen. There it is, and the new moon, you can see down on the bottom right-hand side of the chart where the sun and the moon come together. It's probably right about 5 o'clock if you were to look at a clock on the wall. And it is a time when the sun and the moon come together, and it is a theme, it brings in a theme or a new theme to all of us of something new that it promises ahead. And there is a Sabian symbol for this new moon that suggests that we remember the importance of honoring our physical well-being as well as our emotional well-being this month as this new beginning, this new start comes. And this symbol, this Sabian symbol, is, if you could just in your mind picture an archaic temple, and in the left section, a lamp burns in a container shaped like a human body. And that picture is one that is a symbol of this new moon's energy. And we do want to talk, Amy and I, and share some insight into that, into this new moon, because as most of you know who watched Turn to the Stars, we did back in November had so much change that occurred. Around the beginning of the month, we had the 4th Pluto-Uranus square, which was opening our hearts all to be healed. The solar eclipse, which was in the beginning of November as well, pointed us all in a new direction. Jupiter turned retrograde, shining the light of our understanding about who we are and where we come from. That was November 6th till March. And Neptune turned into a direction forward, a forward direct motion on November 14th, which woke us up to the reality of this world we're living in. And then we had the full moon in Taurus on November 17th, which brought the full awareness of what we value most to our forefront in our lives. And so this new moon on December 2nd at 11 degrees Sagittarius does give an indication that things right now are moving very, very fast. Sagittarius is a fire energy. It promises progress. It promises positive change and reform. And it does bring us to this place of to look at what we believe in. Time to do some research and decide what we want to create. December does have us crossing very different thresholds. So on this new moon, we'll feel supported and enabled. This month will actively help us to break down barriers that we've experienced. And it's really interesting that, we picked this time for Amy to come on because she has a really special book, Before This Song Ends, a Timeless Romance, which is so perfect to come out at this time because of this new moon energy. Sagittarius is very much about publishing. And Amy, did you want to share a little insight on that?
Oh, absolutely. Sagittarius is a sign for bringing hope into the world. It's the archer's arrow that is teaching us that we can aim high and we can design our future as we are able to envision it. And so this sun-moon conjunction tonight is very powerful, especially because we've all been coping with the added stress of this ongoing Pluto-Uranus square, and the degree where the sun-moon conjuncts is forming very helpful, softer aspects to that square. And so it really is putting us in a moment of grace where we can feel more optimistic about the future and that we have possibilities and options open to us. So it's really a very, very uplifting new moon.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, especially with what we see in that chart, that grand trine in fire. There's 3 positions in that chart, and what that means is that it's really very inspiring, and you can see that right in this chart on the screen, the grand trine in fire. It looks like a grand triangle formed by the blue lines in the middle from right up, I got my chart here right in front of me, to Uranus from that new moon and right to the part of fortune. So,
yes, I feel we really have an opportunity at this new moon to realign ourselves with our highest and best selves and to fully open ourselves to be the recipients of our own spiritual grace and potential, and channel that onto the planet, to really be agents of hope on this planet. It's a very spiritually nurturing and empowering energy.
Yeah, it really does encourage us to investigate and look at new territories of knowledge, because our good fortune does lie there. And
exactly.
Yeah, and there's so much we can learn about ourselves through this exploration with this energy. It's interesting because of that. November was such a extremely a month of a lot of change for everybody, and it's finally settling. And one of the things I talk about on the show is that the month to follow an eclipse is always an exciting time, because it does promise that sense that presents us with that opportunity to grow with all of that change and in that theme. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Right. So we can have hope. This is a season of hope right now that we're entering into, and it's important for us not just to have personal hope for ourselves, but to bring that hope into the world for others.
Yeah, it is true, and for us to all support us, each other on that path. The square on that new moon chart between the Sun and Neptune, which is really past, but the Sun in Chiron does indicate that there is some stress and that there is some delays in understanding because of these interruptions. So the challenge would be really for us to view events in our lives differently so as to not repeat the same old patterns. Right. So it is really a very optimistic time for this sort of consideration or concentration. And one thing that
really to go on faith and not on fear.
Absolutely go on faith. Sagittarius is that sign that truly inspires that. When you see that arrow, such as the picture behind me on the wall, pointing upward to the heavens, it makes me think of, shoot for the stars, turn to the stars. Look That's beyond the norm, right? What's right here and right now. Yeah, and and
that's why you and I, we had discussed at great length what might be a propitious time for me to publish this little book. And this new moon really came to the forefront as the time that was right for it. And And I feel, there are many opportunities for everybody to launch something in their lives tonight that is an expression of faith and an expression of hope, and that's why this is the launch for this little book.
Yeah, it's certainly the perfect timing. And one of the other things I like about this new moon is that from the South Node to Pluto, there is a trine, which is an open doorway for the things of the past such as the old structures, to be revealed. In essence, we're able to become more aware of the past and those past values and realize how we can restructure and redo things differently this time around. And which leads us to, talk about Before This Song Ends. And the other thing that I wanted to just point out about this new moon chart is that the North Node in Scorpio does continue to remind us that we should continue to proceed in wiggling out of our old skins.
Very
right?
Good, yeah.
Yeah, forward movement
also,
means
the
regeneration.
Venus-Mars trine, it's about actualizing things in the material world. We're not on a mountaintop, away from involvement in our material lives. We are in our material lives, and we have to do things that, are good faith efforts to improve our lives and do what we can to improve the lives of others around us.
Right. That is a very nice angle to see between Venus and Mars. Mars is about action, and Venus is our, the glue that binds us together, our relationships, and lending a helping hand to each other should be easy to do during this time.
Yes, and we also know Venus and Mars are the planets of romance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's another good indicator for bringing a new romance into the world through Before This Song Ends. Would you like me to give you a little more background about it?
Yeah, I would. I would like to hear a little bit about Before This Song Ends.
Okay. To share with our listeners, because you actually know the story. Andrea was kind enough to read it in a proof version, and so we've really been sharing this journey together for some months now, and I love that we've been able to share this. This story is really multi-layered and multi-leveled, although it's very short. In fact, it's so short, it's not even a novel. It's called a novelette, which is longer than a short story, but not as long as a novel. So it's kind of a fast read, but it's quite multi-layered, as I say. It has to do with a young woman who is in the prime of her life. She's in her 30s, she's in a relationship that she's really questioning. It's not feeling quite, secure to her. She doesn't know where the future is going together with this gentleman, and the journey of discovery leads her to meet a past life therapist and to start working on uncovering the deeper karmic issues that are there that she hadn't been aware of before. And through the course of the story, she actually discovers several past lives that they have known each other through. And as she uncovers each of these past lives, she understands more and more about who she is on a soul and spiritual level and what the unfinished business is of the relationship. So it takes a lot of the work I've been doing for many decades and sort of bundles it up in a little bow in a fictional package within this relationship between Sara and Brad, the two main figures of the story.
Yeah, well, Amy, I have to ask you, I'm sure everyone out there is thinking this as well. What is the inspiration behind Before This Song Ends?
Mm-hmm. And there again, it's multi-layered. Because I have been a past life therapist as well as an astrologer for decades now, for many, many years, the work I've done has been fascinating to me. It's been very profound in its transformational impact on people's lives when they do uncover their past lives and they do see they can move on, they can forgive, they can understand deeper reasons for things than they had previously understood. But not everybody will see a past life therapist. Not everyone will feel inclined to. But these days, people are more and more curious to understand these deeper levels of their psyche, and especially with Neptune and Pisces, the veil between the material realm and the etheric realm and the Akashic realm are so, so thin. It's sort of all bleeding through, all seeping through. And people are getting more interested. And I know there are also professional past life therapists who are instructing courses now in how to use these tools, how to help people review their soul records. So this book is an opportunity for people to read in a fictional format a story that unfolds that does help you get a little glimpse into the window of past life therapy, as well as an interesting romance. And so it's an opportunity to learn more about the subject. And beyond the storyline itself, which is under 100 pages in a large font, there is an afterword, and the afterword is called About Past Life Therapy. So people will actually learn from my perspective and the work I've done, and some excerpts from both Nevermind that we've discussed, as well as my book on past life therapy called One Sex to the Other, Reincarnation and the Dual Gender Soul. There's some heavily borrowed excerpts from those books that will orient people in a nonfiction way after they read the story to understand a little more of the subtext of this field of past life therapy.
Yeah, and I truly think, Amy, that this is such a perfect time for you to publish this book. I know it's been a long time in the making for you.
Very long. In fact, I wrote this originally between 1990 and 1992. So I have actually held this book aside on a shelf for over 20 years before I got the inner guidance that said, you know what, it's time to finish it. It's time to get this out there. It's the right time for me, the right time for others. And in fact, the story takes place in the early 1990s, which is another layer of the story. It takes everybody back into a time before we were all busy with social media and networking and so immersed in the electronic age. So things were really in a simpler time, and it might be pleasant for people to revisit that time that not everybody today remembers or lived through, but then to come forward into today, because not only does she see many past lives, she also journeys on the inner levels to visit higher plane awareness and higher plane consciousness. And she brings through some very profound visions about the future, about the turn of the century, and also about humanity and our relationship to religion, our relationship to creation and the Creator, from the perspective of this inner journey work that she does. And so it offers a new paradigm for us to see ourselves in our relationship to the Creator. And everyone who's read it, and there have been probably a dozen or more people who've read it, have all been, really on board with what they're experiencing. They have had a lot of affirmations that have been really helpful to them to move forward in their lives into a more optimistic framework.
Well, Amy, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but on that subject right there, when I read Before the Song Ends, as I write in the review, it really, really brought me to the forefront of my mind and my heart how important it is to honor where you've been, to investigate where you've been, to understand where you've been, to love where you've been, because it's so important to a fruitful future.
Exactly. And this doesn't negate anything in the past. We all have to reconcile ourselves with our past. Mm-hmm. And that's what her journey of discovery does. It helps her become reconciled with her past, to see her relationships, all of her relationships, in a new light. And other people become involved in a way that they, too, have to find redemption for harm that they have done in the past. And they come to see, how they must change as well. And so people are sort of getting turned inside out and upside down as they undergo these revelations about who they truly are on a soul level. And one of the other layers in the book that I feel is such an important message for the times that we're in, you know, it's easy to stand in judgment on others, whether it's another gender, another race, another class, a person of color, a different culture. And as she uncovers these past lives, you know, we start to think, gosh, maybe I've been in that gender, maybe I've been that race, maybe I've been that religion, that culture. Reality, you know, reincarnation is a reality, and people are learning this now. People are ready to learn this. They're hungry for this information. And once you understand that you have walked many different cultures and religions and races in the past, it really changes your perception about standing in judgment on anyone.
Well, that is something that changed my perception totally in this life when I did past life regression and found out that I was of a different race in another lifetime, and I've been both genders. It really does change your perception, your belief system, the way you react, you know, all of those things above. And what we've done, Amy, Amy hasn't seen this yet, but it is all images that she has sent to me. I made a nice video which gives you just a sort of a glimpse at before this song ends, and the table of contents, and just a couple surprises in there. So we're going to play that and come right back. That was a great video. I just love the colors, and you know, the story itself is terrific. If you're somebody who enjoys a good story that has a lot of heart in it and has such an incredibly deep meaning, I encourage you to read before this song ends. Amy, where can someone find, where can they look to find your book?
Yes, at the moment it's published on CreateSpace, and you can find the link to that page on my site on newagesages.com in the bookstore, and you can even just Google at this point, before this song ends, Amy Shapiro. It should bring you to the page where you can order. It will be on Amazon. We're working on getting it into Ingram so that it can be in bookstores as well, but it will certainly immediately be available online. And I hope you'll all enjoy it as a good winter cozy read, and look forward to hearing other thoughts that folks have. I welcome the opportunity to hear from you.
Well, I'll tell you something. As December proceeds, as we get closer and closer, every single day to the full moon around the 17th of December, it will be in everybody's best interest to gather information to understand the duality of who they are, because that full moon will be in Gemini, and it will bring to full awareness all that part of us. You know, there is a duality about being a human being. We're not just a physical form. We also...
I'm sorry, if there's a moment to mention about, I will also be available in the Seacoast Astrology meeting on December 10th in person. If anyone's in the Portsmouth area, they're welcome to come to that.
Yeah, that's next Tuesday, December 10th. It starts at 7, is that right? I'm pretty sure 7.
Yes, at the roundabout in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and they can go on the Seacoast Astrological Association website and get all those details.
Yeah, that site is also available on www.turntothestars.com. Right on the home page in the right section. It's very easy to click through. And, I think that with where we're at in our evolution, where everybody's looking at different tools, different ways to positively manage their life, this is definitely a wonderful tool, this book, and I did thoroughly enjoy it, and I do thank you, Amy, for allowing me to be one of your first people to read it.
Yes, everyone will see Andrea's beautiful quote on the book, and it was just really great to have a chance to share this with you, and I hope that everyone has a wonderful, wonderful holiday season moving forward.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Amy, I do want to say that I know you've been on Turn to the Stars a couple times. We talked about Nevermind, which was the autobiography of Isabel Hickey, and now we're talking about you and this incredible book, which is entirely yours.
And I want to mention, since you mentioned Isabel, the dedication page of the book is to kindred seekers and Isabel Hickey, who taught, absent from the appearance is present with the power. And that's an important message with all the Scorpio and Sag energy, and moving forward for people to understand, there is far more to life than what we see on the surface.
Absolutely. And can you just provide a little bit more insight into what that means for people that are hearing it for the first time? Absent from the...
It's a very powerful mantra to meditate on. Absent from the appearance is present with the power. It's to understand the unseen energies that are moving through materiality at any given moment. And that if we allow ourselves to be just a little distant in our consciousness from the physicality, we will, just like you say, turn to the stars, look up, recognize the immensity and enormity of the invisible energies that are moving all of materiality, all of what we experience and see in the world. And it takes that getting quiet time, that tuning in and listening and sensing and hearing, as Jay Hickey was saying last week, the inner voice. So absent from the appearance is present with the power.
Wonderful. And that's such a great note to end the show on. And I do want to say a great big thank you, Amy, for you taking the time, for coming on the show, and for writing this great book before this song ends. So we do appreciate you very, very much.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And I'm glad our experiment worked, that we could do this on the phone. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's sure that is a blessing in disguise, right?
Yes.
Well, Amy, thanks again for being on Turn to the Stars. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Turn to the Stars. And we wish you all a great week. And until the next time, take good care. We'll see you then.